So you've been a marketer. Back to one thing you've done in your perch at Fox is you've helped lead through OpenAP and just generally this conversation around like that we're talking about here today, like TV as a platform, right? What does that mean specifically? What are like the 2 or 3 things you think the industry needs to get done in that 24-month window that you?
Unification. I mean, I can't overstate. I hate overusing and just saying OpenAP because it feels like it becomes like a drinking game just to throw it out there. Yep. But there's very few platforms that we can start to say, look, we're all competing on the shows. Like showrunners are incredibly expensive. Building audience is incredibly hard to do. We all compete on custom ideas for the brands and how we're going to do it. But like what we've never had to compete on before was what the currency metric was that we were trading on, because we had Nielsen, and we can people could complain all day about Nielsen, but at least it was consistent for everyone who was trading on it. As soon as digital came around, a whole new class of metrics were introduced in digital. So digital started playing by different rules. Digital creates a new product, and they say, this is priced on a cost per view, a CPV, and here's what it costs. And the whole market goes, okay, what's that worth? And TV tries to create a new product, and everyone's like, cool, how does that fit in with what I paid you last year, right? And there's just no consistency. So I think that if, I say it a lot when we talk about OpenAP, is like, look, yes, Fox is pushing very fast into new ad formats and trying to reduce commercials, but if we do it alone, it won't matter. Right? Like the market can't buy it. Like you can't create a market and you can't understand what the market price of anything is if there's only one person doing it. It's why Truex, when it got acquired, still served the whole industry. Right? It's similar with FreeWheel, right? Like what you're owned by Comcast and yet you work with everybody.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense.
It's vital.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have the same view. We need a tech and data. Like these guys down the beach have a common tech and data layer and are not running out chasing different vendors every 10 minutes and trying to cobble together this Frankenstein system, right?
Yep.
And in order for television to compete, it has to kind of have the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it just has to. Long form storytelling should have there should be, and it's not even. There is the common platform. There needs to be a marketplace for buying like this that we can understand what it's worth. Like I said, it's worth. That impression against that person is worth something different to that automaker in that exact moment than that QSR, than that retailer in that moment, because of the creative that they're going to show is going to move someone along a journey in their decision, right?
Right.
I can't know what that is until there's a common platform where people can say what it's worth to them and the market can decide what the price is. As long as we do it the way we're doing it right now, we're going to go in and keep having these same conversations where I think these are worth this much more. And they're like, I think it's worth that much more. And then depending on the creative, one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
Right. So, okay, last 2 questions and then we'll open it up. The industry's changed a lot and the change is accelerating. Yes, like as you say, we've been talking about the change for 20 years. Every year we hear this is the last year for the Upfront. This is the last year for Cannes.
Yeah.
This is the last year for this. And then we all come back and we all have an Upfront and blah, blah, blah. So it changes slowly. But it does feel like things change slow then fast and we're kind of getting into that fast period and there's this rapid clip. Right. The industry is still run by people who have been in it for 20, 30 years. What do you think a successful leader in our business today, given the current changes, like what are the traits and the characteristics and what does that person have to be able to do that's different than in the past?
It's hard for me to say that different in the past because again, like
you weren't there, so you don't know.
New now, but I think that the talent in people is number one always. But I think that's a easy answer because it's true.
Well, it's
everywhere.
not. So it's, think about like how do you when you hire? How do you think about it when you build a team?
I look for people that I've worked with in the industry that when they're sitting on the other side of the table, I'm like, oh, I really want to work with that person.
Smart.
Yeah. And so you look for that like first and foremost, and then people who you think are like it's always a degree of separation. Like someone that if you respect someone's opinion of a person, that's probably the best way to get there. But as far as what we need from the leaders in the industry is we need to understand that we're just used to fighting over things because that's just the way it was done. Like we're used to negotiating with agencies over every penny because that's just the way it was done. But we're kind of in a moment, like very unique moment where we're also on the same side of the table. Like we have the same goal that we would like to not kill long form storytelling as an advertising vehicle. We would both like that very much. right? Because I'll tell you, the storytellers aren't necessarily sure that's true, and the consumers aren't necessarily sure that's true, but everyone that can better believe that that's true. So that means it doesn't matter if you're a publisher or an agency or a marketer, you're on the same side of you would like to not kill long-form storytelling. That is a good place to start, like rather than starting with what I pay you last year, what are you doing this year, let's go.
Right.
I remember when I first got into it, I talked to someone who's very senior in the industry, and I remember thinking, I want to go talk to, and I'm not going to give any company names, but I want to go talk to this MVPD, this affiliate partner, about this cool idea that we could do engagement ads and VOD, and he looked at me, and this is a very senior person, he goes, they're going to look at their watch and go, our fight isn't scheduled for 2 years. What are you talking? Why would we talk now? Because affiliation deals are every 5 to 7 years, and in between, no one changes anything, even if it's better for everyone. And that's both sides. Programmers are just as at fault because we're like, okay, we just need this nickel, right? And maybe that's right. Maybe we end up at a place where, okay, we go OTT with long form stories, and thank God for sports. Did I mention the NFL? Buy the NFL Thursday nights.
All right. I think I want to open it up for questions for Joe.
So what do you expect the future TV marketplace to look like? Both in terms of the technology that supports it, but also you talked about that there's probably this inherent value of having futures contracts and that television needs to be bought in this way. But what are the other kind of derivatives of that you expect to and how trading will work?
Look, I think for sure smart marketers are buying any place they think there's going to be attention. If you think of attention as this very precious natural resource, which I compare it to all the time, right? If you believe it's going to be limited and you believe in the future that there's only certain places where it's going to be. Netflix tried to buy a billboard company. Does anyone know if that deal closed? It happened, and they were trying to buy a billboard company. Why? Because in the future, we're basically, can you imagine inside Netflix where they're going, well, we're killing the ad industry. We should probably go buy the few places where there's going to be ads left. It's kind of a funny thing to think about, but the idea of where there's going to be attention in the future, lock it in. Like an airline takes hedges on oil so that in case oil prices spike later, they don't have to take all the costs to themselves. So long-term contract, I don't think the upfront dies. I actually think we just get better at predicting where the inventory is going to be. And then I also think we need flexibility. Basically the dumb definition of CPM right now, an impression is an impression, will become more nuanced. It'll look more like real estate. We analyze real estate not just for the square footage, but for where it's located, what are the amenities, who are the neighbors. There's a bunch of things we do. Impressions, we just say, is it 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 30, and that's it.
So there's some who would say, following up on that because supply is constrained in television, that we're always going to, the predominant way of buying and selling is going to be direct sold, human media buyer to human media seller. Do you think that's true? Do we ever see programmatic? Do you ever think a meaningful portion of, we see it now, but for a meaningful portion of the inventory?
I don't know, because we say TV supply is constrained, but back to where we started, which we didn't even plan this, but what a great way to go all the way around to end there.
That's amazing.
But human time with advertising is constrained. That is a fact.
I've seen research reports that show that for young people in particular, they really have 36 hours.
Yeah. I have. Oh my God, I did see a research paper that said, when you add up all the screen time young people have, it's actually 36 hours. And I was like, holy shit, they have more time. Now there are times where when I'm flying from New York to LA and I get 3 hours back, I'm like, maybe this is what they mean. But it's insane to think that there's more time spent with advertising, and so. It is a finite, knowable thing, and if you believe you have that, you should. You're going to have to take futures. If you have to open a movie on said date, if you have to, back to school shopping on said date, great that you want to run programmatically. What if costs spike, going into the weekends, so, on what's real? What will happen is the cost won't look like it spikes because there's a bunch of fake stuff going in with it.
Bunch of fake stuff going in with it.
Fraud, bots, impressions without people watching them.
You think that'll happen in the TV space?
No. I think the marketplace keeps prices from spiking by offsetting it in digital.
Okay, cool, interesting. Yes, right here in the front.
By the way, you nailed all the questions, so thank you. Joe, you mentioned earlier that we've got about a 3-year horizon out to avert disaster. What's got to happen within that 3 years in order to make this more manageable?
So we have to land the rocket ship on the asteroid and drill, and then have to split it so it goes on either side of the planet, and then something with animal crackers. That's good. I just thought it was very dramatic.
There's a reason we're in media.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to greenlight that. No, it's not necessarily like. What's funny about this is I don't know that it's a disaster. Viewers seem to be perfectly happy watching ad-free. The bundle is getting pecked away at by people who are subsidizing and okay without the advertising. I think sometime between now and then we have to have a very real look at what people's time is worth and start working backwards from, okay, how do we make advertising worth their time, rather than thinking how much are people willing to pay for ads and then how many do we need to put in to pay for our content.
Right, but there's an infrastructure required to be able to do that, right? There are things we have to build and capabilities we have to create, right? What's on that list, right? It's like, first our, ad serving fundamentally, probably unified so we can have one look across, better decision making. So we're looking at all these variables that you list in every decision that we make.
Yeah.
And then trading platforms, trading intelligence, like things like that.
Flexibility on ad format, ability to have rate cards that aren't based on one CPM, like
just fine all.
But make it easy. Like you could still say, look, marketers have a total investment. Here's my 100 million, 200 million, billion, whatever the dollars is, and here's my objectives for the year. But right now it just gets divided up amongst a reach frequency curve rather than saying GRP is the percent of your audience that you reach, without any quality level in it. So like a 1 second impression versus a 10. I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole.
But it's fascinating. Like if you're a broad reach advertiser, you're a CPG, and you just want to reach as many human beings as you can. So price really matters. You got to keep the price. I'm actually probably not buying platforms like social media networks because the local vet clinic's outbidding me.
Yeah.
Right. Is there how?
No, how do
I navigate the future?
I say that jokingly all the time. Is that everybody thinks that if a platform reaches everyone, then that platform offers me huge reach. And I will give this example. I would challenge digital to be able to deliver what a normal Sunday football game could deliver in one day, which is one commercial, fully viewed by tens of millions of people, unique people, wholly viewed, unfraudable, whole screen, right?
Volume
Digital,
on, volume on.
you'd have to put a roadblock on the front part of Facebook. Here's the analogy you use, which is if I told you there was an advertising medium, and it is used for advertising from time to time, that reaches absolutely everybody on planet Earth every single day, right? You would say that must be a great advertising medium. And if I told you that advertising medium is the sky, you would say, wow, that is actually not a great advertising medium, because just because everyone sees it every day doesn't mean that it's very effective for me to deliver my message there. Although skywriting might be a place that we start to go buy stuff now.
Maybe Netflix will buy a skywriting company.
That actually could come next. And then we split the asteroid.
You should bring that up.
Okay. Cool. All right.
I think that's it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.